mega trend over the last couple decades, of course, at least for humans and dogs and cats, has been the movement away from prepared and processed foods, supported by endless scientific studies that have shown that some of the key substances that are good for human health, for example, are destroyed through the processes that prepared foods go through. And I think there's a lot of analogies that one can draw, since prepared and processed foods for our aquarium fish go through similar processes. And I have those illustrated here. The ingredients are typically put into a large container. There's a grinding and mixing operation. There's a drying process at elevated temperatures. There's a screening and compression process, depending on whether the final product is tablets, wafers, sticks, or flake foods. So again, these processes really don't help retain some of the key ingredients that we're hoping end up in the bodies of our aquarium fish. Likewise, when you look at the ingredients on the label, manufacturers attempt to replace many of the key natural ingredients with chemicals and other substances. An example here is Xtreme Big Fellow, which I still use and I'm very satisfied with. But if you look at the ingredients list for these tablets, or pellets, I should say, there's a total of 39 different ingredients, only 4 of which I would consider to be natural: krill meal, shrimp meal, squid meal, pea protein, maybe 5 when you add the algae meal. So bottom line is your fish are getting a lot of ingredients that are added to the formula. Some of them, like garlic, in many cases, are just added to improve the appetite of our fish, and it's been demonstrated that without garlic in a number of foods, the fish won't even eat it. So we have 2 issues. We have an ingredient issue, and we have all this processing that the foods go through that are quite destructive. I've tried to make my recommendations simple, based on my knowledge, education in the area of human nutrition, my experience over many years with tropical fish, and also contacting a number of aquarists on YouTube as far as what they're feeding fish. I've come up with this fish food scale, which you may or may not agree with, but again, this is what I'm using and what I would propose you consider in putting together your diet, your overall diet, your total diet for your aquarium specimens. You can see prepared foods are much lower on the scale than some of the foods like live fish foods, which are at the top of the scale. But even within prepared foods, there's quite a range. There's, number one, there's the, let's say, flakes that are primarily grains and binders and fillers, all the way to number 4, where a large percentage of the weight of, let's say, pellets, for example, is processed seafood, other proteins, and algae. So if you can see, as you move up the chain, there's less up the food scale, I should say. There's less processing, there's less destructive heating and mixing and grinding going on with the food. And of course, far less, and in many cases, nothing added by the supplier to the food. For example, at the top, number 9, if we feed live earth or bloodworms or brine shrimp or daphnia, they're getting all the natural ingredients that come with those live foods. So anyway, this is based on my analysis, my experience, and input from others. And what I'm targeting right now is, and I call it number 10, is a varied diet, realizing that many of us need some prepared foods for convenience purposes. We're running out of the door, what have you. But my goal is to have 60% of the food by weight supplied from numbers 5 through 9, and to have about 40% supplied with prepared foods, and focusing on the higher quality processed foods. As they say, the proof is in the pudding. This is my 500-gallon aquarium where I have fish that are pretty large, up to 12 to 14 inches. But in any event, on days when I feed freeze-dried food, for example, I notice that the fish have much more intense colors, especially reds. I've tried dried foods that were advertised as color enhancers, and they don't work nearly as well as freeze-dried and live foods. I've also noticed that my fish have grown extremely rapidly, and some of these Vieja, for example, are up to 14 inches, and they achieve that size in less than a year. So I've been very satisfied with diversifying the menu for this aquarium. This is my 340-gallon aquarium with a 65-gallon sump. Most of the fish in this aquarium are 18 months old or less, and they've exhibited tremendous color, breeding activity, growth rate. In fact, I've only lost one fish out of this aquarium in the last 12 to 14 months. So been very satisfied with changes in the food routine for this tank too. This is my 200-gallon, which I've shown on many other videos. It's a planet aquarium, angelfish, Australian rainbows, Geophagus sveni are the highlights of this aquarium. And again, this is another aquarium where Geophagus and the angels have put on extraordinary growth, have shown tremendous coloration, and again, I have not lost any fish in this aquarium for, I can't remember at this point in time. So in summary, we have reviewed why prepared and processed aquarium foods like sticks, pellets, flakes, and so on are not ideal, and why they lose key natural ingredients through the processing of those foods. We've also seen what I'm proposing and what I'm utilizing as a fish food scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is a much better and ideal diet relative to a diet with prepared foods only. So in any event, I hope this video and its content have been helpful to you in helping select a more varied and healthy and natural menu for your aquarium fish, and ultimately healthier, stronger, more colorful specimens in our aquariums. Thanks for joining me, and look forward to any comments and other information you might provide from your experience. Thank you.